Yeah, so when I joined the coaching program, my idea was to get into a 16, a 26, a 30 unit property with my brother and my dad and maybe a partner, and that was really what I wanted to do.
Where you were the GP.
We were, it was going to be a joint venture type of situation.
Okay, now
syndication wasn't on my radar at all.
What region, what market were you looking at? Were you thinking about doing this in your own backyard, or were you looking at other parts of the country?
Well, nobody wants to invest in the Northeast, right? So we were looking at, Virginia, Lynchburg, Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach.
Listen to you. You sound like
Richmond.
you're a Southerner. You sound like you're a Southerner right now, Tim. That ain't right.
Well,
I've
right. Been well-traveled now, I guess, I'm all over the place. So, so once I got my coach within the Jake and Gino program, he was a fellow New Yorker. He's actually a Boston College grad. So now you might give him some credibility, right? So he was doing a 43 unit syndication in Pennsylvania, and we had hit it off, and I was always trying to add value to him. Hey Chris, can I mow the lawn? What do I got to do? I'll travel. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I just want to add value, and whatever. We just hit it off, and he gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. Charlie, he invited me onto that syndication to kind of get a backdoor look on how it works, due diligence, financing, the whole thing. It was a smaller syndication, 43 units, but a syndication nonetheless. That property is killing it, by the way. And, that was an education in and of itself. I never thought I was going to be a part of syndications, but here I was. And then when it came time to raise equity, he's like, well, you want to give it a shot? And I was like, well, I don't know if I can raise 1,000, 100, 10. I have no idea what I can do, because I never tried. And, at that point, my limiting beliefs and my scarcity type of mindset from my upbringing, I think it was, people view me as Tim the firefighter, Tim the ER nurse. People don't necessarily equate Tim Lyons with real estate. So how was I ever going to get somebody to come into a deal for 50 or 100 or whatever?
But this goes back to your limiting beliefs. I mean, you know more about multifamily than anyone else. So, how does it? How can you overcome that? And how did?
Yeah. So we raised about 150,000 for that deal, and but a lot of people talk about.
How much did you need for that deal? You raised 150. How much did you need to raise?
Oh, I think they needed 3 million total.
Okay. So you dip your toe into it. You found out what it's like.
And then from then we were hooked. From then it was.
Hold on, I got to ask the tough question. I got to ask the legal question. And legally,
do it.
How were you compensated for that deal? Be careful. Don't say something that's going to get you in trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, so we're part of the general partnership team, right? Okay. So we were allocated, a percentage of the general partnership, and we're a part of the asset management team. We're on weekly calls. We have been to the property. We've done planning. We are integrally a part of that property.
The GP, right?
Exactly right.
So let me ask you this, and I want you to tell me the three things that you learned, three most important things that you learned going from a 3-family in New Haven to syndicating a 48-unit deal. What were the three most important things that you would want to teach a new person like yourself?
You have to have realistic expectations of with your pro forma numbers, right? So the broker is going to send you a pro forma, and you can basically tear that up and throw it in the garbage.
Right, because you know what? You have to wait. If you came to Connecticut, what do I say? Pro forma is Latin for
BS. I don't know. what was it?
Pretend. Pretty close. Pretend. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so, you just have to have that local market knowledge. How much does it cost for anything, whether it's repairs and maintenance or trash removal. I mean, you just have to know what the going rates are. And if you don't know, you got to talk to property management companies. You have to get on the phone and talk to the companies themselves. You have to know the market rents, whether you use, CoStar or Yardi, or, you have to use, as much data as you can to arm yourself with these realistic numbers, and you have to buy on the actuals. So when they give you the T12 or the T3 annualized, you can throw that in the garbage too. You need the T12.
Yeah.
So you're buying on the actuals.
Yep. Number two.
Number two, you have to do and perform everything that you say that you're going to do. And then number three would be you have to be communicative with the people that entrusted you with their money, right? I mean, like you have to know that, especially for the first time investor, that's a lot of money, 50,000, 25,000, 10,000, whatever it might be, they're giving you a lot of money. So
let me just tell you,
you gotta
see, you're going through the heyday. This is, frothy times for multifamily investors. Everything's going up. Nothing's looking bad. I was involved in this business when the market crashed. And I can tell you, the reason why we survived, the reason why we came out smelling like a rose as best you possibly could in that time is because whenever an investor called us, we always answered the phone.
Yeah.
That's the key. And Tim, I saw, listen, and I tell you, that's because where you and I are raised, that's what you do. You just take your licks and, you pick up the phone and you talk to them. That's exactly
it. I mean, especially for me in the beginning, I didn't have the credibility. I didn't have the track record. I didn't have, again, I was Tim the fireman, Tim the ER nurse.
Yeah.
So like, this was my first deal. This is my baby. I had to do all the things I said I was going to do because I had my investors that I was beholden to. And how was I going to go to deal number two if I couldn't perform on deal number one?
If your first deal, if your first deal is done wrong, you'll never do a second deal. And when you don't do a second deal, you never get to your 1,000 units.